Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadharam Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. We will have a small recap of our last class. This the seminar session 2. We discussed about goal of human life. Dasharatha Maharaj also, he was inquiring from Vishwamitra. The main thing is the whole human effort civilization should be conducted with the aim of how to stop the repetition of birth and death. And also, Dasharatha Maharaj, he was addressing Vishwamitra. He cannot ask, how are you? But he was asking, how was your sadhana? How was your krushi for overcoming of birth and death? So we had Rishabhadeva Uvacha also. And main theme in Rishabhadeva's Uvacha is one who has been awarded this human form should not work hard day and night simply for sense gratification. Then what to do? One should engage in penance and austerity to attain the divine position of devotional service. Then what is that penance? Is chanting the holy name of the Lord attentively. Then we had two references from Bhagavad Gita and also from Srimad Bhagavatam. And we also discussed how the root spreads under the tree and it makes it very strong. At the same time, if our chanting is not proper, not attentive, it becomes a very weak tree. And with a strong force of wind, this tree can be uprooted very easily. But whereas these roots, when spread under the earth, the tree is very, very strong. Similarly, when our japa is also very, very strong, whatever calamities come, we remain the same devotee of the Lord by chanting firmly the holy name of the Lord. Then the goal of this series of seminar is inspiration to improve our chanting, and based on two factors, like one is philosophical and the other is practical. One should know the Namamrut, then we should take that nectar. So we also discussed that there are three stages of chanting. Nama Aparadha is the stage where we do the 10 kinds of offenses. Then Nama Abhasha is the one where the offenses have almost stopped or nullified. And the third stage is Suddhanama. In this third stage, when one chants the Hare Krishna Mahamantra without offenses, his dormant love for Krishna immediately awakens. This is the perfect position, perfect stage where we have been trying to reach this stage. So later also we discussed Nama Parada, reference from Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th canto, 5th chapter, 23rd and 24th verses. One should be careful to avoid the 10 offenses. Then there where we stopped. We have Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, Nama Parada Yuktanam Namani Evani Haranti Agam Avishranti Prayuktani Tani Evarta Karacha. Even if in the beginning one chants the Hare Krishna mantra with offenses, one will become free from such offenses by chanting again and again. Papa Kshayascha Bhavati Smaratam Tam Aharnisham. Aharnisham means 24/7. One becomes free from all sinful reactions if one chants day and night following the recommendation of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Now let us see how these 10 offenses are there, and knowingly, unknowingly, how we are involving in doing this 10 kinds of aparadhas, how we can avoid all those things. And the 10 offenses are actually described from Padma Purana. So may I request any devotee who can able to read it out?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Radha, the 10 offenses are described in Padma Purana as follows. 1. To blaspheme a devotee, especially a devotee engaged in broadcasting the glories of the holy name of Lord. Second, to consider the name of Lord Shiva or any other demigod to be equally as powerful as the holy name of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. No one is equal to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, nor is anyone superior to him. 3. To disobey the instructions of a spiritual master. 4. To blaspheme the Vedic literatures and literatures compiled in pursuance of the Vedic versions, Vedic literatures. 5th, to comment that the glories of holy name of the Lord are exaggerated. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah.
6th, to interpret the holy name in a deviant way. 7th, to commit sinful activities on the strength of chanting the holy name. 8th, to compare the chanting of holy name to pious activities. 9th, to instruct the glories of the holy name to a person who has no understanding of chanting of the holy name. 10th, not to awaken in transcendental attachment for the chanting of the holy name, even after hearing all these scriptural injunctions. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So like that, there are 10 offenses. So those who is chanting these 10 offenses without doing these offenses, he can be able to purify himself. Thereby, he can chant very nicely. Thereby, he will come to know where he is, and also he can also help others. Why we are chanting the holy name of the Lord. And whoever hears this, they can also spread this message. Now, we are going to have a short video. And in this short video, Radhesham Prabhu is mentioning, especially on the 10th offense. 10th offense, what is that? Can someone able to remember what is the 10th offense? In any way, you can say. To the
Not to
nearest.
awaken.
Attachments even after understanding so many instructions on the holy name of the Lord.
Yeah. So we have been coming and hearing Gita and Bhagavatam. And also we have been daily hearing Enamamrita. Our Prabhujis are early in the morning, they are reading out. And during the course of our reading also, we come across these Namamrita, but still we are attached to so many material activities and we want to hanker those things. During the morning time only we are okay, but the rest of the day our mind is wavering, and we want to acquire so many things. So how to avoid these things also? Radhesham Prabhu, he speaks to you. Maybe you can hear for some time. Then again, I will take you back to the Krishna.
I want to get free of this material world. Then he is advised to follow more strictly. And if he becomes initiated, at that time one is himself a preacher and he is chanting Hare Krishna under vow. Now he works diligently to chant offenselessly because he wants to make full, fast progress so that in this one lifetime he can go back to Godhead by his offenseless chanting.
भोगैश्वर्य प्रसक्तानां तया अपहृत चेतसां व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धि समाधौ न विधीयते. Krishna says that the samadhi in the path of bhakti yoga does not come for those who are attached to material opulence. And
so in spite of Prabhu saying, in spite of our chanting daily, we can declare I am chanting 16 rounds, 20 rounds, 30 rounds, 50 rounds. But our we are still attached to our material hankerings for name, fame. I want to be glorified. I want that property. We have a certain satisfied things, but if we go beyond need, that is want, there where we are caught.
And especially attraction for the opposite sex. So these two things, they reinforce the bodily consciousness. They are called Hiranya and Kashipu. So Kashipu means increasing the comforts in this material world by first connecting with the member of opposite sex and subsequently expanding one's material realm. And similarly, Hiranya means accumulating gold for material enjoyment. Actually, this is a very serious matter for us because In this world, to the degree we are identifying with the body, to that degree the next material body is assured. Body after body one has to take millions of.
So to the next birth, now itself we are preparing our next body. Like we have so much desires, accordingly we will take that body. So if our chanting is proper, then there is no problem of changing the bodies.
Of lives. The example is given in Srimad Bhagavatam 11th canto. When a green tree showers seeds, plenty of seeds, thousands of seeds, and then it dries up. But then those seeds which are showered by the tree, they germinate and they give rise to many more trees. Similarly, when we are young, hale and healthy, we do so many karmic activities, identifying with the material body, they give rise to new material bodies in future. And this particular body dries up. Then the soul leaves this body and goes to future bodies, and then again, Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi keeps on going on like this, birth after birth. So if one wants to put a full stop to this useless game of taking material bodies, then one has to come to the realization that this material body is simply a filth. Prabhupada uses the word garbage. He says that, when a jiva is present in this body, in a bus or a train, sometimes by mistake you hit a person a little bit like this. Immediately he'll turn around and say, "Hey, why are you hitting me?" So the jiva is very conscious. On the other hand, when a person dies, Prabhupada says, you can take their body and throw it in the street. You won't take any offense. And somebody can kick on that face also, he says. Still he won't take any offense. Why? It is simply garbage, he says. So Prabhupada is talking about this in Ashuchanan Vashochastvam lecture. He's saying, why are you uselessly crying for this garbage? He's saying. So that is actually, it is not exaggeration. It's literally true. This body is made up of flesh and bones and stool and bile and mucus and urine and sputum and all abominable substances. Like when the hair is on the head, people put shampoo and scented oils and keep it very nice like silken hair. One hair comes in the food, nobody will like it. They'll throw away the whole food. Similarly, when nail is in the fingers, people put nail polish and show it to everybody. See me, see my beauty. One nail is cut off from the body, it goes straight into dustbin. Because as soon as the material body cuts off from the jiva, from the living spirit, then the material body has no value. It has no value. It's anartha. It's good for nothing.
Prabhu here says that having taken birth as human being, we must utilize the human form, not to waste.
At least a tree's body is good for making a table or chair. With this body, you can't do that also. So one should not attach too much importance to this material body. And one should actually, therefore, one should study the Sankhya 2.13 to 2.29 in the Bhagavad Gita, talks elaborately about this principle, what we are talking here. And anybody who is too much materially attached should read that section. Similarly, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Puranjana Upakhyan, it's very helpful for one to get rid of these material attachments, material identification. Actually, Sarva Upadi Vinirmuktam Tatparatpena Nirmalam means this only. Gradually, when we get rid of, when we dissolve this material consciousness and identify that I am actually the spirit who is seated in the material bodily machine, and I am wandering in this world searching for enjoyment, and I am leaving one machine and accepting second machine, third machine and fourth machine like that. And this should be very clear in the minds of those who really want to advance in spiritual consciousness. Because when we use the word self, first we think body is the self, but body is a changing self. Mind is a changing self. But the soul is an unchanging self. And the super soul is unchanging. So therefore, to identify the soul and super soul and the relationship between the two is the ultimate goal of life. And without doing that homework, one will be attached to body. And even after becoming a devotee, we can wear tilak and kantimala, take a bead bag and still delight in material life.
So some devotees, namesake, they are also wearing tilak and kantimala, dhoti, kurta also. But still they are attached to the material hankerings. People
come to the spiritual society simply to eat ice creams and eat cakes and just have fun. We had a good time in ISKCON. And we will never make any progress at all. Because we are looking for material enjoyment even in a spiritual society. And we can hang around and we are not going to get purified. Just like somebody can go to Bhaktivedanta hospital, hang around for a couple of days and come back without meeting the doctor and taking the medicine. If you say, I had a good association of doctors, what is the use? If you don't take the medicine and cure your disease. So
it's like tablets or syrup in front of us. And we are not taking them, but simply having them and looking at them, that does not work out. We are supposed to take the medicine inside. Similarly, attentive japa also will help. That is the actual taking medicine.
in the same manner, we have come into the spiritual society for cleansing the heart, by accepting the medicine of the holy name. And this will only work if you follow the patya. If one is having a diabetes, one shouldn't eat sweets. At the same time, one should take the bitter medicine. Both. If one is taking medicine and also eating sweets, it's like lighting fire and pouring water. Similarly, doing spiritual activities and again becoming materially attached is like lighting fire and pouring water. It will not.
This is very, very important. In the name of many chanting, many people, they come to ISKCON, they also chant the holy name of the Lord. Again, they go back to their own material life. And in this way, this does not work. Plus, it is coming under the 10th offense.
Help. So therefore, this 10th offense talks about after hearing so much, one should think about it, contemplate about it, and one should implement it and try to act on the platform of spirit soul. And by increasing our devotional activities and services, gradually that spiritual consciousness will dawn. Otherwise, more we are indulging in material success, material money making, material fame, there's no progress. And this is the reason why Prabhupada established a society with so many services to the deities, so many services to the Acharya by distributing books and doing Harinam Sankirtan, wearing dhoti kurta, wearing saris. The whole idea is we have to spiritualize our mind.
This dress code is also very important. That's why Srila Prabhupada has very nicely said. He has recommended whatever Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya is following, we are also following. But in the meanwhile, we invent our own dhotis, our own kurtas, our own saris, which are very much decorated, designed. Again, we are coming into the pool of, decorating ourselves. But Prabhu says here, we are not the body, we are the souls.
Mind becomes purified and spiritualized, then the bodily identification reduces gradually and comes to a point where one identifies myself as Krishna's servant and Vaishnava's servant, Guru's servant, and I have no other identity. And that is a very conducive state of consciousness for chanting the holy name. Because Jivar Sarupa hoy, Krishna Nitya Das. Jeev Krishna Das, Yai Vishwas, Korle Toar, Dukhanai. So in that identification, one can chant blissfully, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Harinam Prabhu ki.
So in this way, we can avoid this 10th offense. Again, I will take you to the PPT. So Namaparada. See, Bhaktivinoda Thakur also says, mother of all offenses is inattentiveness. By chanting and hearing, all these offenses go away, but we need to practice it, how to chant and how to hear the same thing. It is a kind of art. This comes by way of practicing. And in the next slide also, I have some reference in relation with this inattentive chanting. So Chaitanya Charitamrita says, even if one chants for millions of lifetime with offenses, he cannot get love of Krishna. This is guaranteed. So it is, again, I stress that it is not how many rounds we chant, but this how we are chanting, how attentive I am chanting. That is very, very important. And with offenses, even if you chant 3 lakhs times also, it is only Srema Eva Hi Kevalam. Why? Because we cannot get Krishna Prema. Love of Krishna is not achieved. But the goal of human life is to achieve Krishna Prema. So here, Rupa Goswami, he extracts from wonderful words here. Serve somebody more merciful than Krishna. Who is that? Then glorify the name of Krishna. Rupa Goswami has extracted from Namastakam. What is that? Nicholas Ruti Mauli Ratnamala Dyuti Nirajiti Pada Pankajanta. Ai Mukta Kulayar Upashyamanaha. Paritastava Harinama Sahasrashami. The translation goes like this. Oh, my dear Harinama, holy name of Krishna, you are identical with the Lord Sri Krishna's transcendental form according to all the Upanishads. The Upanishads personified glorify the effulgence emanating from your lotus feet. In other words, all of the personified Vedas taking shelter at your lotus feet, sing your transcendental glories, chosen verses and yogis, rishis, and all kinds of liberated souls appropriately worship your lotus feet. Therefore, Rupa Goswami says, I completely surrender and myself unto your lotus feet. So the point to understand here is develop relationship with the holy name by spending time and paying attention. So the morning Brahma Muhurta we all gather, and that is the time every individual person, his Atma has a special time with Krishna. You can give your private time for Krishna, especially in the morning Japa Yajna. When you give your time for Krishna's association, Krishna see that you are properly protected by the holy name of the Lord. So then with this, we can develop a relationship with the holy name by spending our time. We cannot say, Prabhu, I do not have time. We have to give our time out of 24 hours. 2 hours at least we are supposed to give. Then also paying attention whatever we are chanting. So 3 things for successful japa is, one is energy. One is also to be physically fit to chant the holy name of the Lord. And he should take proper food. And it is not that he is fasting or he is only taking milk. Not these things. He should have a proper energy. And the second thing is, focus. When you chant the holy name of the Lord, and we should be fully focused. And what I am chanting, am I chanting properly? Am I hearing? These 2 things we are supposed to check. And when we give focus also, the flow should be proper. When we chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and is it the graph is going like this, or it is going like this? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This is a proper flow. Then when the flow is not doing properly, then either we are dozing like Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. In this way, we are either dozing or we had a late night sleep and we are unable to control our senses, and all these problems will come. So to address all these issues, we have to go to bed early. Guru Maharaj says we should have light food, go to bed early and wake up early. These 2 things are the best solutions for our giving focus. And third one is Krupa. Krupa is the one where we are supposed to get from others, actually. So when your senior Vaishnavas or spiritual master, when they pray for you, then you get this krupa. Of course, from our side also, we should be very humble and very meek and surrender to the Lord, especially to the holy name, and do a lot of prayers. Oh, holy name, somehow or the other, I am not getting the taste in chanting the holy name of the Lord. Please give your krupa. Then we also can make these prayers. Then we can able to give our energy, focus, and with the krupa, our chanting is so nice. So what should one do during chanting? 3 things to follow while chanting: hear attentively, hear keenly, hear raptly. All these 3 things coming under attentive chanting. So first is we are chanting whether properly or not. Then hearing attentively, keenly, raptly. All these together we say it is, rapt attention is required in chanting the holy name of the Lord. And we should not meditate even on devotional service. Today in the temple, I have this service, how Hare Krishna, how I can able to go there and do it, or whether that Prabhuji, this Mataji, or whether that articles will be available for preparation. And again, you will come back, oh, Hare Krishna, you are chanting. All these things are distraction. Even devotional service also, we are not supposed to meditate upon. So the technical thing is, it takes same time to chant 16 inattentive rounds and 16 attentive rounds. It is the one and the same. But which one you want, we can choose. Instead of inattentive, let's go for the attentive rounds only. To concentrate on sound vibration formula is just try to hear one mantra at a time. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And not the previous one mantra we chanted, not the next one we are going to chant, only the current mantra. Why? Because if you are chanting on the meditating on the previous round, it is nothing but a kind of ignorance, because which already happened. We could not get it back. And when we focus on the future thing, we might be very passionate also. So that is also not suggested. That's why the current mantra on your middle finger, the bead, when you keep, we need to give a lot of focus on the current mantra and the current bead. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Is my chanting proper? Am I able to hear all these things? In this way, we can very nicely improve our japa by giving a lot of focus on chanting the holy name and hearing and reading Namamurta regularly. So with this, I stop it. And in the next session, we can again continue. Thank you very much. Harinam Prabhu Ki Jai.